to see every one of you. I can see that you guys are tuning in. If you can hear my voice, please type voice in the chat, all right? Please type voice in the chat if you can hear me. In the meantime, I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. I will check my own handphone as well. Yeah, I think I can hear myself, all right? Let me see who is watching already. Okay, I can see some of you. Okay, voice using is here. Hi, good to see you. Who else is here? Sun Eileen is also here. All right, Chiwa is also here. All right, great to see every one of you. Cal, hi, good to see all of you now. Now, tonight, right, it's going to be super, super exciting, because we are going to dissect, all right, a stock together. And this stock can really potentially give you at least, in my opinion, at least 46% return if you want to invest for the long term. All right, Aaron is here. Bingo. Hi, good to see all of you. Fantastic. Now, before we delve into that, right, I also want to share that, hey, this is a very, very special opportunity, because at the end of the day, right, this stock has been really talked about by so many people. But recently, because of so many bad news, like so many regulations here and there, and that is why people have been really shunning away from this stock. Can anybody make a guess? All right, can anybody make a guess what company am I going to talk about tonight? And in fact, if you've been following me, be it in the Telegram channel, my own Telegram, or maybe in Buffett Online School Stock Ideas, right? Actually, we've been publishing this report, this stock idea again and again, because we really feel that this is a very great company to invest for the long time. Oh, wow. Some of you are already making that guess. Okay, some people guessing Alibaba. All right, Cal guessing Alibaba. Joanne guessing about Facebook. All right, Baba, Andrews thinking it's Baba, Huya. Wow, JD. All right, wow, a lot of names coming up. Well, actually, a lot of you get it right. All right, and that stock that can really give you the potential 46% upside. Later on, I will also explain to you how do I come up with this calculation. Where does the 46% comes from, right? I can share it to you, right? In my opinion, it's very, very powerful. And some of you have already guessed it correctly. And that is Alibaba, all right? I'm in fact, a long-term fan of Alibaba. And because of the reason, so many risks involved, right? People are really trying to avoid this stock, okay? But one of the greatest news that we had lately about Alibaba is actually about the fine amount, right? Okay, anybody still remember the news? What is the amount that being fined, all right, by the Chinese government for Alibaba's monopolistic behavior? All right, how much is the fine, guys? Do you guys remember? Right? And later on, okay, even though this is a stock that I believe all of you know, but I just really think that a lot of people are not really fully understanding this business and how powerful it is. And that is why I actually did, like a full day of research so that I can present to you what is the opportunity inside, all right, so that you can see, and hopefully you also have more confidence to invest, all right, despite of the volatility. Because at the end of the day, you can go out there, chasing a lot of stocks that have, increased by, a lot due to, even though despite of the recent tech correction, like a lot of tech stock has been really going up a lot, right? But the thing is, Alibaba is actually one of the few rare opportunities that have actually beaten down because of so many bad news and regulations. And if you want to make profit from the stock market, you also need to start to learn to look at opportunities despite of the drop. All right, so $2.8 billion fine. All right, Cal, fantastic. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, to be exact, it's actually $2.78 billion fine. And in fact, this is also the largest, all right, anti-monopoly fine ever rolled out by the Chinese authority. And in fact, right, this fine amount is even larger than what was being fined by Google, given to Google back then. All right, so Google back then was actually the EU also fined Google $2.7 billion for its once again, it's like anti-monopoly, this kind of regulations, right? So that was what faced by Google. And now this fine is even greater than what Google used to suffer. All right, so how many of you are actually worried about this fine? What do you guys, I also want to hear about your opinion. What do you think about this fine? Are you worried? If you're worried about the fine, about regulations, please type worry in the chat. On the other hand, if you feel that this fine is actually pretty good ending, all right, because at least this fine is given and maybe Alibaba can start to move on from here, then you can type move on. Let me know. All right, I need you guys to participate as well. Okay, Eileen think no. What do you mean by no? You say that the fine doesn't, no worries. Okay, no worries. I see. So Gary says no worry. What about other people? Is anyone that is being worried about the fine as well? Google is too expensive. Okay, ZQ, I'm not talking about Google here. I'm talking about Alibaba here. All right, move on. Not worried, but too bad, no cash to buy. All right, exactly, yes. So for this, right, actually a lot of people out there, when the fine actually come out, all right, to a lot of investors out there, they really feel that could be a very good closure, all right? And that is why actually the stock price did pick up for a while, all right, before it actually come down again. So in this, this special sharing, I just want to really go through the near-term future of what is Alibaba going to be like and the long-term fate ahead. So let's go and see, if you're a short-term investor, if you're a long-term investor, what kind of scenario or what kind of prediction that you may need to start thinking of, all right, in order to really help you guys to invest better, right? So like I mentioned earlier, once this fine is actually given by the authorities, right, Alibaba share price actually rose 6%, all right, in the US pre-market. But once again, all right, the stock has been really going nowhere, ding dong. Even after the fine pick up a little bit, now it just go back down, right? So to a lot of people right now, right, Alibaba is still suffering a huge loss, right? If you invested back in November last year, the high was almost 320. And now it's crashing back down to 235, all right? And the lowest point, I think back then in Christmas time, all right, the lowest point that Alibaba went to is about 210. So that was about 30% fall. So right now, if you buy and you just hold on until now, you have suffered a 24% losses, all right? Which is indeed very painful. Okay, I think to most investors out there, if you suffer 5%, 10%, you already feel there's certain certain uncomfortable feeling in you. And I know almost 30% drop to a lot of people, it's pretty scary, all right? But is this a danger or is this an opportunity? What do you guys think? Okay, before I'm going to share with you my finding, I also want to find out about what do you find about that. If you think that the risk is too much and you're still unsure about the uncertainty ahead, maybe you can type danger. On the other hand, if you feel that this is opportunity because Alibaba, in your opinion, it's a great business and right now it has really come down a lot, to you it is a good opportunity to invest, right? Then you can type opportunity, all right? Fine is okay. Okay, Suchu say more worry about more whacking. Yeah. So there's indeed some sentiment about like worries out there, right? So Eileen also think that it's future opportunities. Okay, who else? All right. So, most people are thinking that this is an opportunity. Well, we shall see. All right. So I'm going to present to you some of my findings, but I just want to say that, all right, this is not the first time that Alibaba or any tech stock that is being whacked, all right, by the Chinese or by the authority, or be it it's Chinese government or be it it's foreign governments, right? It's definitely not the first time it's being whacked, right? So let me give you some of the examples back then, all right? What kind of companies has been really fined by and whacked by authorities, all right? Facebook, okay? If you still remember 2018, right? That is the first, data leak. That was when actually Facebook share price fell by a lot, close to 45% drop, all right? Since 2018 back then when the news leaked out, and then within just a short few months, from July all the way to November, about December, right? Within a short 6 months, the stock price tanked by almost 45%, all right? Another tech stock, another tech stock, all right? It's called Tencent, all right? And Tencent, once again, actually is regulated because it's a China company, it's regulated by the Chinese government. So in 2018, the company is affected. Why? Because the Chinese government didn't want too many of the teenagers, the youngsters in China to play so much game. And that is why they start to regulate, and they actually really freeze and they stop so many new titles being released. And Tencent is actually being one of the largest, right, video company in the world as well, by revenue as well. And because of this, all right, the stock market really reacted to close to 50% drop as well. All right, so delisting risk as well. Alan is also worried about delisting risk. We can talk about that later. All right, Chiwa like the sound of me, how I say Alibaba. Okay, so this is definitely not the first time that, you know, tech companies are being regulated. So, but my question to you is, what happened to Tencent as well as Facebook stock price right now? Guys, this is 2018. The scenario I just presented to you was 2018. And despite of the fall, okay, it's like catching a falling knife, right? If you talk about it, what happened to both of their share price right now? Guys, anybody know? Back then, Facebook dropped to 137. And then for Tencent, this is listed in Hong Kong. I'm talking about the Hong Kong listed Tencent. Back then was 344 Hong Kong dollar, almost there. Actually, lowest point is about 350 Hong Kong dollar. What happened to both of them right now? If you just go and Google it, you will realize that it's freaking more than double. All right, it's been more than double ever since the bad news come out. And if you just bought it during that time, your portfolio would have been like, wow, just by investing in these two great companies, your portfolio would have just been doubled. All right. But the question is, will Alibaba be the next Tencent, be the next Facebook that can really potentially have a lot of upside? All right. So this is what we want to analyze tonight as well. So anybody is excited? If you're excited, please type excited in the chat. All right. Because I am really, really excited to share with you my finding as well. So of course, when we are talking about whether is this company a great company that you can invest for a long run, and so that the share price can really, you know, given time increase, right? You have to make sure this is a good company. If you go back to the Facebook example or the Tencent example, both of them are brilliant companies, right? And that's how, given time, okay, when they recover from the bad news, right, that's how the market sentiment start to pick up, because they realize this is a great business, and that's why they will invest. And that's how the stock price will go up, right? So when it comes to Alibaba analysis, you have to make sure you need to do your own due diligence, right? So many people are excited. You have to understand firstly, is this a good, fundamentally sound company, all right? And second thing is, what are the risks involved, right? Some of you already pointed out some of the risks. Later on, we can discuss about that as well. And thirdly is this the right price to buy right now? And fourth is, if you know how to, you know, use technical analysis, for those who have attended OMI before, right, you will definitely know the importance of a technical analysis also. So if you want to enter with a higher level of assurance, with a higher ROI in mind, then you also want to look at technical analysis. So we want to go through these 4 segments tonight as well. And in fact, we actually go through very, very in-depth, because we do publish our own stock research report to our community inside BOS, or Buffer Online School Stock Ideas. So if you are inside, and for those who are watching right now, if you are already inside the Bossy community, make sure you go and read our report, okay? Because every single time we publish our report, it's really through a lot of findings, a lot of research hours, right? We put in our heart and soul inside. Make sure you go and read it, all right? So after this webinar, for those who have not read, go and read it if you are already inside our Bossy community. So I just want to put things into perspective for all of you. Let's compare the 2 greatest giants in the field of e-commerce, right? All right, so we are talking about Alibaba, which is the biggest in China, versus Amazon. All right, so well, Aaron said reports are really good. Thank you so much. All right, so let's take a look and really compare what is the positioning of Alibaba versus Amazon. Because if you have seen Amazon, the stock price of Amazon just been crazy, right? Just keep on going up all the time throughout so many years, all right? So if Alibaba is a great business, given time, I personally also believe that Baba's share price will increase, all right? So let's do some comparison. Firstly, this is 2020 data, which is just last year financial reports, all right? So let's take a look at Amazon, followed by Alibaba's key ratio performance. Okay, we are not going to go through nitty-gritty for everything, but some of the key facts I want you to pay attention to. All right, so the first one, it's called gross merchandise value. What does that mean is because this is an e-commerce platform, people buy and sell things. So whatever things that's being sold right there, right, your goods and everything. So they will, for example, this cup, right, will definitely cost some money. Let's say $6, right? So the gross merchandise value by selling this cup is $6. But there's so many things in the platform being buy and sell every single day, and that's how. If you add up everything, all right, in a given time frame, that's where you get your gross merchandise value. So the more gross merchandise value out there, that means you know that this platform, okay, more people are buying and selling from there, right? This is also a good sign. So let's take a look at Amazon, all right? For Amazon in 2020, the GMV was 335 billion US dollar. Now, my question back to you is, what do you think is the GMV for Alibaba? What do you think? Do you think it's less than Amazon? Because, you know, in our opinion, Amazon is like one of the largest, right? In fact, it's the largest in our opinion, right? Do you think it's less? If you think it's less, type less. However, if you think it's more, then type more. What do you think? Yes, correct, Ellen. It's by subscription basis, but we publish every single week. We actually generate a report for you to really do your due diligence, okay? See how we analyze, and then if you invest together with us, given time, long term, you will make money, all right? So Amazon cannot fight with Baba. Steven said cannot fight with Baba in terms of GMV. More. Exactly. So many of you really understand Baba well, all right? In fact, it's like more than 3 times. It's in terms of US dollar as well. This is not in CNY. It's 1 trillion. This is 1 trillion in terms of GMV. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? All right. And now let's take a look at monthly active users. If Amazon has 200 million monthly active users, do you think Baba is going to be more than that? The answer is yes, okay, because it's China. China has the like the population is so many more times than US, right? And many countries combined, and that's why the monthly active users for Baba it's also way more than Amazon, right? Now the next thing is net profit margin. We want to see, right, does this business, right, has a good margin so that, right, it means that it does have pricing power, right? So let's take a look at Amazon. So for Amazon, okay, their net profit margin is 5%. Anybody can make a guess for Alibaba, how many percent for the net profit margin? Anybody? In the meantime, for those who are watching, right, if you know that, hey, some of your friends, they will also get to benefit from that, because we are going to cover a lot of in-depth about Alibaba, a potential good opportunity to invest, then share this out, like this video, share this, so that more people also get to benefit as well. All right, so what do you think is the net profit margin? So Siwen thinking about 30%, and Jonathan thinking about 30%. Very close, okay? Very close. Edmund think is more than 20. Exactly. It's more than 20%. It's 22.5. It's like, whoa, a whooping close to 5 times more than Amazon. Why is it so? Because at the end of the day, okay, Alibaba actually runs a different business model, all right? Amazon really, they do everything. It's like a vertical integration, right? But for Alibaba, they mainly are just really through the platform. They are like a middleman. So they earn money through mainly through ads, as well as some buy and sell transaction fee. So it's very different from how Amazon actually runs, because Amazon is very capex heavy. They have their own warehouse. They invest in a lot of things. things. And that is why at the end of the day, net profit margin for Amazon, it's very, very little as compared to Alibaba, because they are two different business models. Now, let's take a look at total revenue. All right, so if you think, okay, let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon is 347.9 billion USD. Now, what do you think is the total revenue for Alibaba? If the net margin is higher, all right, at the same time, the gross merchandise value is also higher, what do you think will be the total revenue of Alibaba? Can anybody make a random guess? All right, if you really cannot make a random guess, right, maybe you can just type, do you think it's more, or do you think it's gonna be less? What do you think? Okay, so Wang Xiyuan is thinking, oh, well, it's gonna be double, right? Okay, trillion. Okay, because this Amazon is in billion, right? So Alibaba is gonna be trillion. Let's take a look. Dun dun dun. Well, it's actually less than that. Okay, it only had 86 billion in terms of total revenue. Why is it so? Once again, it's really because of the business model is different. All right, so Alibaba, if you actually use Taobao to buy or sell before, right, especially you as a seller, they don't charge you for any fee for listing your products inside Taobao. Okay, they basically, it's free for you to list anything, right? So how do Alibaba make money? Really, majority of the revenue also from in terms of the e-commerce side, through advertisement. So if you have so many stores out there and you want to rank higher, you want to catch more people's eyeball going to your store, going to your traffic, that's how they actually get people to pay, so that, okay, their stores, everything can be placed in a better position. Right, so that's why not everybody wants to pay advertisement dollar in order to get higher ranking, and that's how they also definitely at the end of the day will not be able to earn as much as money compared to Amazon, because Amazon, they take in every single transaction they actually take a cut. And apart from that, Amazon also does a lot of other things as well, right? They also sell their own products and everything, so Amazon has more revenue. So in terms of the size, you can still see that Amazon is really a giant, all right, in terms of the e-commerce space for the revenue that is going to be earned. All right, so now the next thing we want to look at is the market cap, right? How big is the company already being traded in the stock market? So for Amazon, it's already a $1 trillion company, $1.7 trillion. On the other hand, Alibaba, right, despite of the giant size as well, right, more users, more population, more GMV, right, the market cap, because of the recent drop, it also decreased a little bit. So now it's only about $600 billion, right? So you can see that Amazon is almost 3 times the market cap of Alibaba. So if you think that, Alibaba, if it has a long-term growth, at the same time, e-commerce is also an ever-growing space, right? Then at this market cap right now, actually Baba, this is a first clue that you can get, right? At this current price, Baba can have a lot more potential upside, all right, as compared to Amazon as well. Because for Amazon to double, it need to have another 1.7 trillion. But for Baba to double, it's just another 600 billion market cap. So that's why this is, in terms of the size, you can already have a first clue. Which one can give you a higher potential in the long run? All right, now let's take a look at the nitty-gritty in terms of the business, right? Exactly how Alibaba make money. And this is important because at the end of the day, you need to understand the business well before you decide to invest in anything, right? So you can see that actually 46% come from the China retail marketplace. Right, and then the other 20% come from China commerce retail others, which is like some of the supermarkets, all right, while the majority, which is close to 50%, in this case, is your Tmall, is your Taobao, all right, is your Juhuasuan. I've never used Juhuasuan before, but I think this thing is already integrated inside the Taobao app already, because I've seen that before, all right. Then you have other part of the business segment, including your Lazada, which is considered the international commerce side. All right. You also have other things like cloud computing, which is making up to be 8% of the revenue, all right, in 2020. And then it also does like digital media, which is like Youku. So if you want to understand what is Youku, it's more like the YouTube, right? The YouTube in China, because YouTube is banned, all right? That's why they will use Youku for video browsing and everything. So Alibaba also has more entertainment. And recently, if you watch some movies, right, you also realize that Alibaba is involved in the production of the movie, right? But once again, the media segment is a very, very small percentage of the total revenue, right? The majority, the main bulk, right, actually over 60% is still in the retail side, which is the e-commerce side. Now, let's take a look at the financial performance, right? Is this really that strong, right? Has this performance of Baba been growing all the time? Because we as investor, we want to make sure it's keep on going consistent, and that's why we'll have the peace of mind to invest. Now, the first thing we want to look at is the GMV. Has it been increasing over time? And you can see that for the past 5 years, hey, basically it's double, right? In terms of the GMV, the gross merchandise volume, so many people are keep on buying, selling from there, and the transaction volume in terms of the dollar wise also double. Super high growth. All right. Another one, if you look at the total revenue of how much Baba is making, from 2016, it was 101. Now it's 509. It's like more than 5x. Super crazy in my opinion. If you think it's crazy, okay, please type 5x in the chat. I really think that the growth of Alibaba is just exponential, right? But later on, we are also going to look at the future growth as well, right? Does Alibaba still have future growth? And if they does, then where does the future growth lies as well, right? Now, the next thing we want to look at is, apart from the gross merchandise volume, apart from the revenue growth, right? We also want to look at, are there more people using Alibaba after all, right? And you can see that the annual active consumers, all right, in the China retail side, which is your Alibaba, which is your like Tmall, your Taobao, it has also been growing very, very consistently. Plus, all right, the mobile monthly active users has also been doubling, all right, from 2016 to 2020 last year, it has also doubled. And why is mobile MAU so important? Because in our day and age, all right, every single time that we just browse anything, we are using mobile. Right? And this is definitely the trend that Alibaba is going to target as well, continue to get more people onto its app. Now, the next thing is, apart from the revenue, apart from growing in terms of users, we also want to make sure the operating cash flow is also growing all the time, right? So for this, you can see that it's also a very healthy growth all the time. And why is operating cash flow so important? Because you want to make sure this business, all right, on top of the top line, which is the revenue, right? Does this business really generate money from its day-to-day operations, right? And operating cash flow is a very clear sign that Alibaba is a very healthy and is growing business as well, right? It's almost like, almost 4 times, almost 4x. Now, the next question you need to ask is, well, Alibaba is so strong, so powerful, right? But what is the reason behind that Baba can be so strong? This is also the test time for you guys, for those who have studied investment before, you know the power of economic moat, right? What economic moat do you think Alibaba has? Okay, what economic moat do you think Alibaba has? Let me see, okay. Crypto learn. Wow, we have a crypto guy inside, okay. He's very excited about 5x, all right? But apart from, so what do you think is the economic moat of Alibaba? Let me see your comments. Okay, network effect. Aaron said network effect. Okay, let me just remove this. In the meantime, okay, Jack Ma. Jia Ying saying that Jack Ma is the reason why it's so strong. Okay. Economic mode. Jack Ma is not part of the option, but well, it's possible. Okay, he's a very very strong leader. But right now, actually, Jack Ma is not so much involved in a day-to-day operation. In fact, he's not so much involved in Alibaba that much, right? So network effect, whole ecosystem. All right, very good. All right, a lot of you know about network effect. Indeed, all right, like Joshua, like Edmund talk about, right? So Jonathan also talk about it. It's really about the network effect, right? And why is network effect so powerful? Because the more people buy from Alibaba, then it will attract more sellers to come in, right? And as more sellers come in, there's more variety on this platform, then more people, more buyers will also come in. And that is one of the very simple understanding of how network effect will help to continue to grow Alibaba in the future, right? And the second thing, yes, like Vera mentioned, right? It's also one of the biggest e-commerce in China. It's leading in the world as well. So in terms of the branding power, it definitely stick to your mind, right? Whenever you talk about, hey, I want to do e-commerce shopping in Baba, in China, the first platform that you ever thought of will be Alibaba, right? So it has a really branding power. It's like Coca-Cola. Immediately you think about soft drink, you will think about Coca-Cola. You think about fast food, you think about McDonald's. So when I talk about e-commerce in China, it's Alibaba, right? And it does have a very strong brand, and people, that is why, right, whenever big organizations, they want to penetrate into the China market, the first one they want to collaborate is also Alibaba. And that's how, the product offering get more attractive, more customers come in, right? When more customers are here, more sellers will be there, right? And they really have they also have a pretty good, in my opinion, very, very solid ecosystem, right? And I don't have time to go through that, but inside our bossy report, I did write about that before. So let's continue. Let me just stop share because, hold on, and I reshare again. Okay. So these two, in my opinion, is one of the two largest intangible assets, the two largest economic mode that Alibaba has. The first one is network effect, okay, followed by the intangible assets, which is the branding, right? Which is like what you mentioned, like you guys, like super, super strong, powerful brand that Alibaba has established over the years, right? And if you want to talk about the market share in China in terms of e-commerce, even though there are other platforms like rising, like JD, like Pinduoduo, but you can see that Alibaba still dominates, right? And that is why when it's able to dominate, there is a reason why people want to continue to use it. There's also a reason why brands want to continue to really make sure they have a presence in Alibaba, because 58% of market share, right? Once they tap into Alibaba, they can literally tap into the majority of the China consumers out there. And people in China are just getting more wealthy. They have more disposable income, and that's how they will buy more online as well, right? So this is a place, all right, we have talked about how Alibaba has done well in the past. But from now on, we want to talk about the future growth of Baba, right? Because in order to make sure we as an investor, our money will continue to grow, then we have to make sure that this company is definitely a growing company. Not stagnant, but growing as well, right? But before I share with you, in my opinion, what is the future growth potential, all right, I would really appreciate all of you, okay, to like this video, all right? In the meantime, share this out as well, right? Because I really hope that through this education, more people will be inspired to really start investing. And most importantly, don't invest blindly, really through proper system analysis. And this is what we want to cover as well, right? And in fact, Baba has a great opportunity. So I hope more people will also get to understand that, hey, this is what they can also start grabbing opportunity to start investing, right? And for those who have not followed my Telegram channel, you can also choose to follow my Telegram as well, because I do post very, very frequent insights from inside there as well. All right. So with that done, okay, for those who are done, please type done in the chat. Please type done in the chat. I would love to have all of you help to like and share this. All right. So with that, let's keep going. But let me drink some water first. Okay. Now, future growth potential. Where is it? Doko desu ka? Hai, kore desu. This one. Okay, in fact, this is what we published inside our Bossy report as well, right? Firstly, the first opportunity, the first growth potential actually lies in China itself. And then you can see that Alibaba right now, right, the digital economy, GMV, is 1 trillion US dollar. But if you compare it with the China consumption has like close to 6 times of what Alibaba is getting right now. And if you look at the China GDP itself, right, it's 14.5 trillion. And that is why the CEO of Alibaba, Daniel Zhang, also believed that Baba's digital economy gross merchandise value, right, is still a fraction of what is the Chinese consumption right now. And that is why it has a lot of room for growth. All right. So you have Baba, non-listing of N Group is a great disappointment. Yeah, but maybe we can never say for sure. Maybe in the future the N Group will come back. Well, but this is something we cannot predict. But once again, even though this N Group is not being listed, it actually doesn't impact the business of Alibaba, right? So if you're a shareholder, then understand this business even more so that you have more confidence to maybe add on if opportunities is given in front of you. Now, the second growth opportunity is smartphone penetration rate in China. Right? Right now, what is the percentage? You can see that in 2020, the percentage was about 55%, which is about slightly more than half. So what does that mean is, wow, there's still half of the opportunity, the population out there that is being untapped, even within China itself. Do you think this is powerful? If you think this is powerful, right, please type powerful in the chat. Seriously, when I look at this data, I was mind blown as well. I was like, what? Only half of the data, half of the population owns smartphone. So even in China itself, when more people have like more disposable income and more people have more internet connection access, that's when definitely Baba will also get to benefit as well, right? So thank you everyone for helping to like and share this video. Very powerful, right? Fantastic. Now, this is just one of the future growth potential. We still have more to cover. The second thing actually lies in the cloud, all right? And the sky is the limit. Why? Okay, because if you study Alibaba business, Alibaba also does cloud. All right, and let's take a look at the global scale of how cloud computing, this economy itself, right, is going to evolve over time. So this is one of the research I found online. All right, so according to this research, the cloud computing market, all right, was estimated to be 321 billion in 2019. And then by 2026, which is like 5 years down the road, all right, it's going to reach 1025.9 billion, which is like almost 5 times as well. Okay, like 3 times, 3x, almost 3x. And the compounded annual growth rate, all right, for cloud computing market, it's 18% year on year. And Baba is also inside this business to tap into the future potential growth of how cloud computing is going to be like. And in fact, it's very true, right? Like a lot of things because of COVID, so many businesses, they start to realize the importance of cloud, right? They start to realize that they need to work from home, a lot of things they need to store in the cloud. And this is definitely one of the future going forward. And domestically, Alibaba, it already holds a dominant market share, right, within China itself. You can see that Alibaba Cloud dominates about 40% within China. Other competitors, including Tencent, including Baidu, including Huawei Cloud, right? But Alibaba is the leader. And how about internationally? All right, internationally, this is the chart and the few very, very important competitors that you also need to be aware of, right? The first one is definitely Amazon, AWS, right? That's why Amazon is a very, very solid and strong business. It's close to like 33% dominant, all right, in terms of the cloud space. And then Microsoft is really growing. In fact, Microsoft is also one of my favorite business as well. And then Google is also gaining more and more market share. And you can see that the orange line, Alibaba, is also gaining momentum as well. In fact, it actually overtook IBM, right? IBM's cloud is like going downhill, while the rest are either maintaining or if not actually going uphill as well. So this is a very good thing. And based on the annual report that Alibaba wrote, right? Alibaba said that their cloud computing revenue growth, it's 62% year on year. Super high growth. And if you still remember the chart I showed you earlier, cloud computing, the cloud business right now, right, it's about 8% of the revenue, right? Total revenue is contributing about 8%. As this side of business continue to grow, I definitely will foresee that this 8% will start to take a larger and larger significance portion inside the total revenue. And one thing that I'm also very happy to see is the core commerce, right, which is the majority of the revenue right now, is still growing 35% year on year. And that's why this is a very strong business, right? So Chiwa also say Alibaba has so much room to grow, right? The same level as Amazon, right? I also agree. Both of them is very solid, very steady company. But you talk about growth rate, Alibaba definitely has a lot of growth rate as well. But when we talk about growth, we also need to look at the risk level as well, right? What kind of risk is Alibaba facing? And we all know, right? Firstly, it's this Chinese regulation from the government, right? And then just now we were talking about the fine, yeah? About 2.7 billion USD. And I'm so happy that most of you are not worried, right? Because this is what I also share inside my Telegram channel. I say, guys, you need to look at things into perspective, okay? $2.7 billion looks like a lot. But if you really look at the overall picture, right, the big picture, it's only 4%, all right, of Alibaba's domestic sales, all right? And not even talking about international combined, it's just the domestic sales, it's only contributing to 4%, right? So think about it, right? If your portfolio is down by like 5%, are you really worried about that? Or you are actually okay, right? So in this case, I really think that Alibaba, despite of the fine, they can really pay off so easily, and they just part of their just 4% of their total revenue for last year, right? And that is why I even compared to 11/11, the single day that Alibaba really made famous of. In fact, right, it's even way lesser, right? Way lesser than like the single day, make 20 more times in sales, right, compared to the fine. So once again, whenever you read this kind of news, right, always see things in perspective. Go and find out how much is Alibaba making so that you can really have a peace of mind instead of following the news blindly and get ganjang and sell off, right? So that is a very dangerous thing. Make sure you always see things into perspective, all right? And the second one that many people are afraid of, it's actually the delisting threat, right? Because the US saying that if you doesn't comply with our rules, if you have any affiliate with maybe the Chinese government, this is where they are going to delist you. So this is something that a lot of China company as a result has been tanking as well, and Alibaba just one of them, right? So what do you guys think? Do you think this threat is like really real? If you think it's very real for Alibaba, right, please type real. But if on the other hand, if you think that Alibaba probably it's unlikely to be delisted, then please type unlikely as well. Okay, what do you think? All right, let me know what you think before I share with you what do I think. All right. Let me see. So Chiwa say, is there any specific risk related to Alibaba? I think one of the specific risks you're talking about this is because, well, Alibaba is, if you're talking about this risk, about the monopoly risk, Alibaba is definitely one of the top player being targeted in China, right? Because it's indeed the leader, the global brand, the China's global brand is Alibaba. So that's why the Chinese government is definitely going to scrutinize this company more. And when it comes to fine, they're going to find more, right, on Alibaba compared to other companies, right? But once again, I think from this lesson, Alibaba also learned, right? They definitely don't want their company to continue to be in this medal of having to really deal with the Chinese regulation so much. So they're going to comply, right? And that's why, according to the fine as well as the final rules, right, they do need to report to the Chinese government occasionally to tell them about what kind of practices are they doing. And I think it's a good thing, because finally Alibaba will accept what kind of regulations that Chinese government require them. So basically, if I'm not wrong, they can no longer ask anybody to say, hey, you can only list on my platform, you cannot list on anyone else's platform. So this is something in many people's in the Chinese government's eyes is not fair, and that is why they asked Alibaba to stop doing that. So even though Alibaba stopped doing that, I don't think the business is going to be impacted, because based on my research, the companies, right, it's being affected by this one platform only rule. It's like less than 10,000, right? As compared to so many companies that has been listing on Alibaba, only 10,000 of them is really being impacted. So I really don't think these 10,000 clients will impact so much into Alibaba's bottom line. Yeah, so unlikely, right? A lot of you think it's unlikely, but on the other hand, there's one person think that maybe it's possible, right? So I think at the end of the day, in my opinion, I don't think it's very likely, okay? Because I do think that Alibaba also want to comply to the rules and regulation that the US government give, right? But even if it does happen, what's going to happen to any US share that's going to be delisted from the main market is they will go to this market called OTC, over the counter. So when this company is being sent from the main market, go to the OTC, right? OTC, to a lot of people, it's where the low liquidity comes in, right? Not so many people are very interested in the stock, and that is why OTC generally has a lower liquidity, has a lower volume every single day. But it doesn't mean that you cannot invest in an OTC counter. You can still invest in OTC. In fact, Tencent, right, is also a company that is listed in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. At the same time, it's also in OTC. So Tencent is not going to be affected for sure, right? But on the other hand, even if it's delisted, Alibaba can still be inside OTC. And I believe people who understand the power of Alibaba, they will still continue to buy the OTC or trade in the OTC counter as well. So I'm not so worried about that. And one more thing is Alibaba also has its Hong Kong presence, right? It's also listed in Hong Kong. So your shares can also be converted into Hong Kong shares as well. So at the end of the day, I am really not too afraid about Chinese stocks being delisted, as long as I know that this is a great company. I invest in the long term. Even an OTC counter can make me money, which happened to Tencent as well. Okay, I also am a shareholder of Tencent, and Tencent stock price, if you just check, right, later you just check, has been increasing over the years as well. So it's a beautiful company, even though it's inside the OTC exchange, right? So we have talked about the growth, okay, we have analyzed the fundamental of the company, we have analyzed the risk as well. Now, let's go into the valuation, right? Is this the right price to buy right now? And like I mentioned before, there is a potential 46% upside. Where does that come from? All right. I just want to share with you one of the simplest, right? Really, like one of the simplest way for you to do valuation yourself is to see, okay, before you see, or make sure you do your due diligence. Commercial time. Please follow Telegram channel if you have not done so, because I'm going to share with you more tips on the go. Okay. But once again, whatever things I have shared with you right now, it's not buy or sell recommendation. Yeah. Make sure you still go and do your due diligence. All right. Go and read annual reports. If you can, go and read the bossy reports. That's how you are really going to familiarize with yourself. How can you analyze the company better, and what are the key information that you need to know, right, before you invest in Alibaba or any other company. Super crucial. All right. Now let's take a look at the valuation. This is the one, all right, one of the simplest way to see whether is this undervalued, overvalued, right, as long as this company has been making money all the time, which in fact Alibaba has been, right? So you just need to look at the PE ratio, all right? And you compare the PE ratio, the current PE ratio, to the past 5-year PE ratio. And what does PE ratio means? It's how many times is the market, right, willing to pay for Alibaba at these current earning per shares, right? So the more times that the market willing to pay, that means they are generally like pretty positive about this company, because I don't mind pay you higher, because I know that in the future, as this company continue to make more money, all right, the growth rate catch up. That's how, okay, as a shareholder, I will make money. So basically, it's a very, very simple way to understand the market sentiment, all right, towards the stock. So if you look at the past 5 years, the market sentiment means this market is willing to pay 39 times, all right, to the EPS of Alibaba, 39 times. And currently, because of all these negative news, because of all these fine, the regulations, the delisting news, suddenly, right, the stock markets, for Alibaba, right, the stock price really tanked. And that is why at this current level, Baba still continue to make money from its earning per share. The earning per share, in fact, it's growing, right? It's consistent. But the stock price dropped so much, that is why the PE ratio suddenly becomes smaller. And if you buy right now, that means you are buying it cheaper than how many times the market was willing to pay for the past 5 years, right? You are buying cheaper than average, right? And where did the 46% upside come from, right? If you just use 39 divide by, you minus off your 26.65, you just divide, right? Your potential upside, it's 46%. Because given time, if it's a good company, eventually, right, this company is going to, all right, what's going to happen is the share price will increase, right? When the share price increase, that's where the PE ratio will tend to go back to its average price, right? So average was 39. So if you just give it time, 26.65 will start to increase over time, go back to 39, or maybe sometimes even more. Right? So that is your potential upside. And if you think about it, right now, Alibaba, what price is it? I think 23 something, right? 46% increase, it's over $300, right? And I totally think that Alibaba, if you give it time, I personally believe, once again, it's not buy or sell recommendation, but I really feel that given time, Alibaba will increase to more than $300, right? That's in my opinion, right? So, but once again, this stock market is always, very volatile, especially in the short term. All right, guys, if you look at short term, right, what does the trend looks like to you? What does the trend looks like to you? Is this a downtrend? Is this an uptrend? Is this a sideways? What does it look like to you? Very obvious, it's actually a downtrend, right? And it has been downtrend like since when? Since November last year, right? So it has almost been half a year, all right? Almost been half a year going downtrend for Alibaba, right? So it's like ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. So now, if you really talk about it, it's seems to be approaching the resistance line, right? For those who have done OMI before, you will know what am I talking about. Basically, they are reaching the roof, right? Reaching the resistance. So, is there any possibility that Alibaba is going to go down even more? If you look at the short-term technical analysis, yes, right? Because if you look at the downtrend, it does have more room to fall. Okay, it can even fall, let's say, to $180. It's possible, right? But once again, all right, when we go to investing, right, do we want to focus on short term or do we want to focus on long term? Guys, what do you want to focus? Short term or long term? Because if your focus is very short term, then definitely your decision is going to be very short term as well. But once again, let me bring you back to what happened to Facebook back then. Short term, it's a downtrend, right? If you zoom enough, right? It's a downtrend. And if you are too afraid to invest, right now, you wouldn't even have that upside because Facebook took about 6 months to go down 45%, right? From the peak all the way to the bottom of the bottom in the 2018 data leak crisis, right? 45% down, right? In 6 months' time. Another Tencent. It took about 9 months for Tencent to go from the peak all the way to the bottom as well. So if you use the same kind of like deduction, all right, for Alibaba, so Alibaba, can it go down further? Possible, right? How many more months to go? Maybe another 3 months to another half a year. It's possible, because for a stock to go from the peak all the way to bottom, from Facebook's case, from Tencent's case, it can be 6 months to 9 months to maybe sometimes 1 year as well. It's really, really possible. But once again, if you just zoom out, right, like what Sirki said, right? If you just zoom out and focus on the long term, guys, let me show you the long-term trend. What do you think right now? What do you think right now? If you just zoom out, this is 5 years, not super long as well, just 5 years. What is this trend? This is a very obvious uptrend, right? It's a very obvious uptrend despite of the drop right now, right? Despite of that, you couldn't even see it, right? You feel like it's just a very normal channel, like just bouncing between the resistance, the support line on the long-term uptrend. So I wouldn't be surprised that if Alibaba continue to fall further to maybe $200, because if you look at the long-term support, right, this blue line, which is at the bottom, it's a good support, which is about $200. I wouldn't be surprised if Baba continue to fall to $200. If you have money, if you want to invest more, this could be a good time for you to invest further. But would I want to wait until it really dropped to $200 before I invest? I wouldn't do so, right? Because once again, this is a good company, has been really undervalued, all right? If you just keep on waiting and waiting, you can never catch the bottom, right? So once again, if you want to invest right now, right, then do position sizing, okay? We don't have time to talk about position sizing in this webinar, right? Inside the Bossy Report, we did talk about that. But once again, you need to enter by tranches, right? You can enter by tranches. You can enter a bit here. If it does drop further, like Wendy say, buy more, right? If it doesn't fall further, it just go up, right? At least you didn't miss the boat. I think that is very, very important. So in my opinion, is this a falling knife? Yes, it does look like short term, but am I willing to catch it? Because I am a long-term investor and I really don't mind catching a falling knife, because once again, I don't know when is the bottom. So I just want to buy a bit when the market give me opportunity. And when it go further down, as long as it's still within my portfolio position sizing, I will buy some more. Right, so this is a very, very simple approach. And if you just zoom out a little bit to look at Alibaba's long-term trend, right, it's very, very solid bull run all the time, right? So now let me ask you one more time, all right? Do you think this is a danger, or do you think this is an opportunity, guys? What do you guys think? Do you think this is a danger or opportunity? Right? So once again, whatever things that we share here, all right, is really for you to do your due diligence, all right? Cannot just because Chloe say, oh, Baba very good, then I immediately go buy, right? Because once again, you will never have my conviction, right? So make sure you do your due diligence, go and really study it, okay? Go read more reports to find out, right, for yourself, so that you can build up the conviction for yourself as well, right? Very, very important. So Saki says opportunity, Carol says opportunity, Jay also thinks so, right? Han Ho also thinks so. Fantastic, right? So once again, this is an opportunity, but you need to make sure you do your own due diligence and the position size properly, okay? Don't go all in. Let's say you have a $10,000 portfolio, then you go all in, Papa. Once again, it's very dangerous, because you need to make sure you do know how to diversify your portfolio as well, because we can never say for sure how fast will Baba recover. What if it takes another half a year, right? Then do you want your portfolio to tank for the next half a year? You don't want your 100% of portfolio to be tanking, right? Because you are going to miss some opportunity cost as well. You could have used some of the money to invest in companies that on the uptrend right now, and then you can continue to make money, regardless, right? But I'm very happy to see a lot of you seeing that this is an opportunity. Indeed, in my opinion, I've already added positions in Baba. I think I really max out. I cannot add anymore. Maybe it dropped to $200, I would be like, why I buy so early. But once again, well, I thank everyone for joining this webinar. I hope that you find it helpful. And for those, right, who are really wondering, for example, just now I talked about the Bossy report, right? You are thinking about, hey, exactly how is this Bossy report going to help you tomorrow? In fact, I'm just conducting a very, very short webinar about 1.5 hours. All right, I'm going to share with you how we analyze, so that you can learn how we analyze, so that you can become a better investor. So this is a Buffett way of investing system. I'm going to share with you step by step. And I'm going to also dissect another real case study for you, so that you can learn our thought process to improve on your own investment thesis. All right. And thirdly, I'm also going to share with you some of the ways for you to cut short your learning curve and really, really tap into opportunities that we are here to share with you every single week. So for those who are keen, then just go to this link, rebrandly.ly/bossy webinar. So in the meantime, let me see if I have any more questions. All right. If yes, must join the webinar. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for sharing this link inside the chat as well. Invested almost 15% of my portfolio. Gee, wow, we are very close. We are very close. Okay, I'm almost there as well, slightly more than you. Opportunity. Charlie Munger. Yes, exactly. Aaron also mentioned about that. In fact, recently, Charlie Munger actually went to buy Alibaba shares. All right. So he himself, he's also a long-term investor, and he also see it as a very great opportunity. All right. So that's why you can take it as a reference as well. Alibaba options as well. Right. So Nicholas, if you know how to do options, well, you can go and do options. But once again, you have to make sure you are not paying too much for the premium, especially if you want to do strategy X, right? Because volatile, you may end up paying a lot more. So just make sure you check your OMI rules, okay, before you enter. All right. So shares plus options for Baba, same here. I also do both. All right. So that's all I have to share. It's an hour already. Hope you guys really enjoy it. And yeah, let me see if there are any more questions. If not, I'll just put this link over here, so that all of you, if you want to join, then yes, join me tomorrow as well. It's going to be a very short and sweet webinar, 1.5 hours. All right. So thank you, Chloe. Thank you, everyone. So for those who have not joined my Telegram as well, make sure you do so, so that you can also follow some of my investment insights, which I post quite often, almost every single day as well. So if not, okay, thank you so much, Aaron, and thank you everyone for joining Hang Hall as well. So I hope everyone have a great night, and we will see you guys tomorrow as well. See you. Bye bye.